Hi everyone and welcome to Unit Review. Today we're looking at the Technomancer in the Necron faction. But before we get into that, we have a giveaway ongoing.
Yes. Go and have a look at our Instagram and we'll put the details below. But it's Warhammer Pod, obviously. And we're giving away a £100 Games Workshop voucher. Or if you're not in the UK, we'll give you the equivalent currency worth of voucher. It's very easy to enter. You just need to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then like and share the post on Instagram. And that's all you need to do. So make sure you enter. It's time. The clock is ticking. I think it's end of April, isn't it?
End of April,
coming up soon. So get in there soon. Get in there now and share it with your friends as well. Let's get as many people entered as we can.
Absolutely. So the Technomancer itself. Now this is quite a robust character, but this character is, well, that's it. He's a Necron character. Mm-hmm. He primarily leads the units into the combat, giving them those relative buffs.
He's not a beat stick. He's definitely a buffing kind of supporting buffing character, but he can make those Necron units even more durable.
Yes,
make your opponent cry because they can't get them off the table.
Exactly. He was my favorite character for a lot of time until he was moved from the Lich Guard to the Wraiths.
Now, yes. Which at the start of this edition, he made the Lich Guard virtually unkillable.
Absolutely unkillable. But now the Wraiths are unkillable.
Yes.
But we'll get into why they're unkillable now. So,
yes.
Dan, do you want to start off with the stat block?
Yes. So he's a 60-point model, so relatively good value.
Yeah.
He's got a 10-inch movement, which is good because particularly if you're going to pair him with some of those faster units we just talked about, you need that to keep up. Mm-hmm. But he's only T4. He's only got a 4-up save. Yeah. He's only got 4 wounds, and he's got leadership of 6-up, which is good, and an OC of 1.
Yep.
So he's fairly fragile.
He is.
But that's, as I said, that's not what he's there to do.
No, certainly not.
He does have weapons, and he can plink the odd wound off. But,
yes.
So what do you want to talk us through those?
Certainly can. So his range weapons is the Staff of Light. This is an 18-inch range weapon. It has 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 5, -2 AP and 1 damage.
So it's reasonable, you know.
Yeah, nothing to shy away from.
Yeah.
Again, not going to be killing lots of things with it, but it's there just to kind of add that extra little fluff kind of damage to it.
Yeah. I love it when sometimes they come in clutch, like if he's leading a unit warriors and you fired them and somebody's got a wound or 2 left and you're like, come on, Technomancer,
because you always forget to fire it as well. So you're like, oh, my Technomancer. Like, oh, he's going to kill you. Yeah. Now, the melee side of things, you kind of don't want him in combat, but the stat block is still it's still okay, basically. But yes, so it's Staff of Light. He has 2 attacks in combat. He hits on 4s, strength 5, -2 AP and 1 damage. Yeah. So again, relatively the same.
Very straightforward. There's no different loadouts. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
He will either shoot you with his staff or bonk you on the head with it.
Yeah, very true. So that's his weapons. What about his abilities, Dan?
Well, his core ability obviously is leader, so he can lead certain units, and we'll get onto which one shortly.
Yeah.
Faction ability is reanimation protocols, which is obviously restoring wounds in the command phase, to himself. But this is where we get interesting. He has rights of reanimation. So while he's leading a unit, units in that model have a 5-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
So for every wound that is inflicted upon them, you roll a dice, and on a 5 or a 6, they ignore that wound, which is
immediately
big.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like reducing incoming damage by a third, isn't it?
Exactly, and that obviously also applies to himself because it's the models in the unit can have that ability up until the units.
Yeah, if he's on his own, he doesn't get a 5-up feel no pain. If he's leading a unit, he does.
Certainly does.
And this one is one we were talking before off camera. We both always forget. But this is really clutch as well.
It really is.
His Technomancer ability, at the end of your movement phase, you can select one friendly Necrons model within 6 inches of the bearer. So it doesn't even have to be in the unit that he's leading.
Nope.
And that model regains up to D3 lost wounds.
Yep.
And that is big, and you can't stack that. So if you've got 2 Technomancers within 6 inches of, say, a Doomsday Arc, they can't both put D3 wounds on it. You can only use it on a unit once. But each Technomancer can use their ability on a different unit each turn.
Exactly. Yeah. But then tie that in with their own built-in reanimation.
Yes.
So again, got a big model Doomsday Arc, as you say, getting D3 from that, D3 from itself, and tied in with a reanimator.
Yeah,
you get more
another
D3s.
D3. Yeah,
so stacking upon stacking is one of what it's there for.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's pretty good. What about his leader ability then? Which units can he lead?
Exactly. So the big standout one is, of course, the Wraiths that are just on the table here. The Wraiths are incredible. They're very tough, very fast, and it kind of matches the profile of this guy. Basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because the Wraiths have an inbuilt built 5. Obviously, they now have a 5-up Feel No Pain, but alongside that, they have a 4-up.
They have an innate 4-up invuln, and the Technomancer gives them the 5-up Feel No Pain. So you can see a 4-up invuln is effectively halving the number of successful wounds that come through, and then you're reducing the number of wounds that have got through the save by your Feel No Pain.
Exactly.
It's very durable.
Big stacks. And the squad of 6 of those, 4 wounds each. Yeah. Very hard to get through.
You can lead Immortals as well, can't he?
Can, yes. Immortals, again, another good unit, specifically inside of what was the detachment that allows you? The Hypercrypt Legion. Right, yes. So that allows you to teleport around.
Yeah,
so you will be teleporting around to get in those awkward spots to deploy a lot of dev wounds off.
Yes.
But having him tied in there to, supply that additional... durability to the unit will help that unit overall.
And the one he's always been famous for leading is
the Necron Warriors. Yes, the absolute warriors that they are. But yeah, Necron Warriors. Look, they're not seen too many in tournaments nowadays. Still a good unit, especially if we bring a blob of 10, a blob of 20.
Yes,
blob of 20 with a 5-up Feel No Pain.
It's a big
hard to chew through.
Hard to chew through.
2 OC each, 40 OC off an objective.
Yeah,
it's hard at the end of the day. It's really hard.
And he's also got a few faction keywords. Yes. So obviously he's got Necrons because he's a Necron. He's infantry. He's a character. He's got the Cryptek keyword.
Yeah.
He's got Fly, which we'll come on to in a bit. Yeah. And obviously he's got the Technomancer keyword as well.
Yeah. So nothing stand out in the keyword side of things. No. But just overall, overall the stat block so far looking pretty handsome.
Yeah, he's good. Fly is one that can be a blessing as well as a curse, and we'll come on to why it could be a curse as we move forward. But stay tuned for that.
Silken character, to be fair, when it comes to later on. That's the big one. Yeah. But perfect. So detachment side, detachment side of things. What's the best detachment to run this in?
You mentioned Annihilation Legion before. It can also work in the Awakened Dynasty, which was the OG Index one.
+1 to hit rolls.
+1 to hit rolls, and that because he does work quite well with warrior blobs. But I think you hit the nail on the head before in terms of wraiths. He works best with wraiths, and wraiths work best in the Canoptek Court detachment.
Yes, 100%.
So there's a few stratagems and enhancements that work best with this unit from that detachment.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off with the first one?
Certainly can. I'm going to absolutely butcher the pronunciation of this. Metal Odernal Tesla Weave.
Perfect. Metal Tesla Weave.
Nailed it. Got it in one. So this is a 10 points for this enhancement. But what this does is that it's a Cryptek model only. Once per phase, when an enemy unit selects the bearer's unit as a target of a charge roll, you roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Yeah. And on a 6, it suffers 3 mortal wounds.
Flat 3.
You made an excellent point of, for 10 points and you get charged by a Terminator squad. And just to throw out a potential 3 wounds to get rid of one, that's a good trade.
It's a good trade for 10 points, isn't it? And we were saying this off camera before as well, is how often do you end up with like a spare 10 points in your list, So this is just something a little bit cheeky, a little bit spiky to chuck in there. Your opponent might not be expecting it. And it can, if you can kill a Terminator or a Custodes or something like that with it for 10 points, happy days.
You're laughing. They're crying, but you're laughing. Absolutely. What about the next one?
I've got the easy names. This is
you've done me dirty, Dan. Done me dirty. But go on, say the word.
Auto Divinator.
Yes.
This one's 15 points. Again, we're talking the Canoptek Court detachment here. This one is each time your opponent gains a CP as a result of an ability, you roll 1d6. On a 2+, you also gain a CP.
It's really good.
So it can be situational, but there's an awful lot of CP farming in factions in 10th edition. Most factions have got a way to do it, not Drakari, but I'm not salty that I'm salty. But yeah, again, it's one of those ones, if you've got a spare 15 points, why not? CP in this have always been big, but they're massive in this game, in this edition. So,
and I think this detachment has a lot of stratagems
that you want to use.
So that extra CP that you're getting is going to be really useful.
But the king of the enhancements by far, in my opinion, this one. It's a little bit more pricey, but tell us a bit about this one.
Yes. So this last one is Dimensional Sanctum. This is 20 points, and for a Cryptek model only, models in the bearer's unit have the Infiltrate as ability.
Infiltrate, yes.
That's really good. Yes. So for anyone who doesn't know what that is, that allows you to place this unit up the board during deployment.
Yes.
So basically, I think 9 inches away from the enemy deployment.
You have to be 9 inches away from enemy deployment and 9 inches away from
enemy models as well.
Enemy models, yes.
So basically, you're already on an objective. Obviously, we briefly talked about how useful it is having that ability, because 37% of the time you'll have a chance to pull one of the secondary cards. So if you have a unit already on an objective in the middle, you're already scoring those early game points.
So if you're playing, what we basically mean by that, we go back and watch our other videos where Jack goes into more detail on this. But you have over a 1 in 3 chance in turn 1 of drawing a card which involves you being in the mid board.
Exactly.
In one of these.
No man's land.
Yeah, no man's land. And this, being able to infiltrate and forward deploy enables you to do those cards if you get them.
Yes.
Speaking of cards, we've got some stratagems.
Yes.
Most of the Awakened Dynasty stratagems work well because they give buffs to Necron units led by characters typically, and obviously he's a character.
Yes,
and there is one strat from Awakened Dynasty which is really useful for the Technomancer, because as we explained, he's not very durable himself. And that is Protocol of the Eternal Revenant.
Yes.
So this is the Epic Deed stratagem for 1 CP. And basically, you use it when a Necron character model has just been destroyed, and you spend 1 CP and they just get back up again with half of their wounds. So he's coming back with 2 wounds. But as we've already talked about, as long as he doesn't die immediately straight away, he's gonna heal himself with reanimation protocols.
Exactly.
It's
really useful.
The best strats and the best synergies are with the Canoptic Court, so we'll go through a couple of those ones. Do you want to kick us off?
Certainly can. So the first one is Curse of the Cryptek.
I love this. Yeah,
very nice name, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, this is in your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase. Yeah. Just after an enemy unit has shot or fought, you basically select 1 Cryptek model from the army that was destroyed by one or more attacking by one or more of the attacks.
Yep.
Until what you can do is, once it's destroyed, until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Canoptic model makes an attack that targets an attacking unit, add 1 to the hit roll or wound roll of that unit. It
lasts until the end of the battle, which makes it so powerful. So what this means basically is if somebody kills your Technomancer, you can spend 1 CP, and for the rest of the game, all your units that target the unit that killed your Technomancer get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. Yeah. So again, coming to those kind of elite infantry type things, which is probably what your opponent's going to be chucking into wraiths. Yeah. If you can then chew through those much easier if that unit of custodies or terminators or half guard, those tough units, you're getting +1 to hit them and +1 to wound them. That's big.
That makes me kind of want to bring like 4 of other Crypteks that are for like 40 points each. Yeah. Just to be like, have them up in the field, be like, go on, shoot him. Yeah, go on, have it. For Green Street style.
Yeah, just sat there, like that. Come on, give
egging them on. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. So something like that to bring an extra 1 to hit.
I just love it. It's so very Necron. It's quite vindictive, isn't it?
The name of it as well, the Curse of the Cryptek. Yeah. It's like, you're cursed now. You shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that's a really good one. What about the next one, Dan?
Yeah, speaking of tough names, the pendulum has swung in your direction now, because this one's a nightmare. I'm going to call this Cynosia of Eradication. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Let's go,
but this is a 2 CP strat, so it is a bit pricey. But and the target is 1 Cryptek or Canoptek unit from your army, and it has to be wholly within your power matrix. Yeah. Which mean and the effect of that is, until the end of that phase, weapons equipped by Cryptek or Canoptek models in your unit have devastating wounds.
That's really good. That's really good. So it's pricey, but I mean, devastating wounds, the trade-off is really good for that. And for anyone who doesn't know what the power matrix is basically your deployment, as long as you're holding your home fielded objective, and in the center, in no man's land, as long as you control more objective markers in no man's land than your opponent, that is considered your power matrix. So
and you're getting re-rolls within that. So this is also, you already can see how the buffs are stacking.
Exactly. And if you have infiltrate and you're already in the middle, you're already getting your power matrix turn 1.
Yes.
So really very good comboing. Very good combos.
And then the third one, this is a tricky name for you.
Oh, who do I have to the dictionary? But Solar Pulse.
Solar Pulse, yes.
I was laughing for a second. I thought I was going to say it wrong. But nailed it. So yes, so this one is 1 CP. So it's in your shooting phase. It's you obviously select 1 Cryptek model. Yeah. You select 1 objective marker within 18 inches of the Canoptek model. Until the end of that phase, weapons equipped by friendly Necron models have the Ignores Cover ability when targeting units on that objective.
And this is an interesting one. So the Cryptek himself that you play this stratagem on, he or she has to be within 18 inches of the unit that they're pointing at.
Yes.
But all the other units don't. So the Cryptek points at that unit within 18 inches, and then everything in your backfield, like your Canoptic Doomstalkers and what, can shoot it and get ignores cover.
Yeah, that's really good.
And cover is so big in 10th edition.
So easy to get.
Yeah, you're getting it exactly. That's it. Most of the time, units can find a way to get it.
Yeah.
So to take it off them is for 1 CP to trying to chew through something to deny your opponent primary. I think it's very good.
Yeah, especially with like ruins and such nowadays.
Yeah,
ruins. If you're in the ruins, you get cover. So taking that away is just so nice, so good. Very nice. So the very good stratagems, very good enhancements. What about then that combination of all that stuff?
Yes.
What's the best way of playing this unit?
So in my opinion, the best way is that they combo really well with Wraiths and the Canoptic Court detachment. We've said. For the first, I mean, if you're playing Canoptic Court and you've got the models, I would be playing multiple units of Technomancers with Wraiths because it's so strong.
Oh, so strong.
The first enhancement I would be definitely using would be that Dimensional Sanctum one we talked about, where it gives them infiltrate.
Really good ability. Yes.
So you've got a very strong, durable unit all of a sudden that can exert some early pressure on your opponent thanks to infiltrate. Because very often the units that can infiltrate are light, aren't they? And they can't withstand a lot of.
No.
So in Necrons, it's flayed ones, for example.
Yep.
Which they've got reasonable damage output, to be fair. But if you can get at them, they'll crumble.
Oh, easily, no save, no cover.
But so Wraiths are a totally different story. Yeah. So, for an example, during deployment, you use Infiltrate to place a Technomancer and his unit of 6 Wraiths on the central objective, say in No Man's Land.
Yep.
And what this does several things. So, firstly, once they're down, that screens out your opponent from placing their Infiltrate units within 9 inches of you.
Yep.
And from making scout moves within 9 inches of you, because scout moves happen in the pre-game phase as well.
Certainly does. Yes.
And then tactically, that also means that the center of the board is mine. It then gives me opportunities to score those first turn secondaries that you were talking about.
Easily done.
Which again, we're saying over 1 in 3. What do you say? 37%,
38%,
something like that. Yeah. So, and then thirdly, the unit is also then well positioned in the midboard to go and charge enemy units, or simply to hold that objective for as long as possible, thanks to the durability buffs that the Technomancer gives them. So they're getting that 5 up, feel no pain, and healing D3 wounds. And as you pointed out, Wraiths are 4 model. Wraiths are 4 models. Wraiths are 4 wound models.
Yep, spot on.
So D3 being able to you're thinking about reanimation, you can bring one back and then heal it up to full wounds with the Technomancer. It makes them obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
But what about the flip side of that coin? If you are fighting against this unit, how can you reduce the effectiveness of Technomancers leading Wraiths?
So it's actually really easy, and pretty much every army out there can do this ability. So the easiest way to fight against this unit is when you were to charge it, you can use the stratagem called Precision. So precision allows you to basically target a HQ or a character in a unit. Now, as we mentioned before, the Technomancer, they aren't strong, they're not tough, they don't have a lot of wounds. It will have a feel no pain being inside of the squad.
Yes,
but itself does not have a invuln save of 4.
No,
so it only has a 4 up save. So it's going to be, most weapons will be putting it back down to its 5 up save.
So if you can snipe it with like a Calidus Assassin or something with guns that have got precision, or if you charge in and you spend a CP, what is it, on Epic Challenge or something?
Yeah, that's it.
And then your character that can then has precision and can just wipe it out.
Just wipe it out.
Because with that profile, as you just described it, almost any reasonably strong character will be able to take them out, won't they, in combat?
Oh, yeah. I refer to it as like a book nerd, basically. Yeah. That's all he is. He's a librarian. He's fancy. That's all he is.
Yeah.
Now, the only downside about using that is that he does have a... we mentioned it before, where you can reanimate using the Awakened one.
Yes, if you're in the Awakened dynasty, you can just pop back up. Yeah,
certainly can. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of people won't be using the Awakened one in tournaments. Recently, a lot of people are using the Canoptic Court, so they do not have access to that strategy.
If you're chucking him in with Wraiths, it's Canoptic all the way, isn't it?
Always. So it would be very rare that I'd see Awakened dynasty with those, with that combination. So that's the first way. Now the other way, you very briefly mentioned it during the keyword section. So he does have the fly keyword. So again, that means that any anti-fly plus 2 will be easily taken.
And the way it works is that keyword applies to the unit when you're targeting it. So if I'm Space Marines and I've got anti-fly on my tanks or whatever, I can target the whole unit. So it makes the Wraiths easy. Doesn't enable me to to target the Technomancer specifically.
No.
But it makes the race less durable, doesn't it? Because you're going to get more wounds through.
Easily get more wounds through. So overall, really good. Really, really good. Have you used the Wraiths and Technomancer combo much in your
Wraiths
games?
and Technomancer is one of my favourite combos. And Canoptic Court is my favourite of the new Codex Detachments, simply because I think it's quite straightforward to play. It's like it's not entirely monkey brain, but it suits me, my simple way of playing it. Like, because
I like it.
Yeah, because it's the combo is fairly easy to do. You know what you're doing.
Good.
So the other way I think you touched on this before is if you're taking 20-man blobs, the warriors,
yes,
because it just makes them like a third harder to kill.
It's true.
You know, and if you knew somebody who was cooking up like a Silver Tide list, it was going to take 100 warriors. Maybe
we'll see.
Maybe he would
be taking, who would build a list like that?
Who would build such a filthy list?
Yeah.
But I think it's but for the way, if we're talking competitive, or as we like to call it, competitive casual, you know, if you're playing at a reasonable competitive standard with your friends, Canoptic Court, Wraiths, Technomancer.
Easy peasy. Because again, they're not hard, as you think. I think it's a good thing mentions that, as you said before, is they're not hard to play.
No.
It's nice and easy. There's not too much to remember. They're just tough.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's good. That's all you want. And I guess it helps newer players as well, because if you misplay, maybe get them in the wrong spot, well, you're not going to lose them immediately. They're still going to soak up a lot of damage. So, look, I've misplayed, or my game's ruined. Well, no, you've misplayed. They're so tough. It doesn't really matter. You'll be able to move on and carry on and do other things that you want to do.
There's not many armies, and even if you misposition them so your opponent can get, say, half his army can get at them, there's still not many armies that are going to be able to delete them very easily, that have got that much firepower or melee power.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think, what about you? Because, I mean, obviously, as I just touched on, you're thinking about... if you're new to Necrons or not familiar with them, the Silver Tide is kind of how they were born, you know, this relentless marching army of robots. But warriors aren't very meta at the moment, are they?
No, they're not. But I love taking things that don't work, or people say, that
if somebody says to you, you can't do that, then you're an immediate
I'm immediate, like, go away.
I will do. I can and I will.
I will. So yes, the next list I'm probably looking at is Silver Tide, Technomancer, and I think it's the what's the detachment called? Or Plax?
The Obeisance Phalanx is the other detachment. Yes.
So I'm looking at running that sort of list. So different to this one, but incorporating the Technomancer. It's not meta. That's why it's not on this list.
Yes.
But certainly we'll be looking at.
I'm really interested to see how that goes. So if you end up playing against Jack in the next few weeks, make sure you take loads of precision.
And I'm sorry. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But I hope this was really useful. We went and talked through a lot. Thought you made some really valid points and some really good combos in there.
He's a really mainstay of most Necron lists. Let us know again in the comments, how do you use Technomancers, if we use them differently to us. One thing that I have seen, which I haven't tried, is some people will stick one in the backfield to babysit big powerful units like Doomstalkers or Doomsday Arts, just for that just for the wounds
extra
regeneration.
Makes sense.
But he's not a lone operative anymore, so they took that off him, so he is sniperable from distance.
Easily peasy,
But let us know in the comments, how do you use them, and please like and subscribe.